Hello there! I'm Scotty. You're not welcome back to the Sequel-A-Thon 5. That's a V. And we are now talking about Little Fockers. That's right. Released in 2010. But, yeah. So, yeah, in this movie, I remember when the trailer came out, I was like, really? They're making another one? Because I didn't think they were going to make another one. Because the second one came out in 2004. And then now 6 years have gone past, and I saw the trailer and I went, wow, they know, okay. Hey, guess what? They just announced they're making a fourth one. It's going to come out next year. What do you know? 26 years after the original. Wonder what that's going to be like. There's heart attacks in this one. Who knows what's going to happen next? Robert De Niro's in his 80s. Oh, they're in their 80s. Who knows who they're going to get to come back. All the grandparents are in their 80s. I mean, not back. But apparently they're doing something. The only thing I can think of doing is grandchildren. Like, the only thing I can think of they're going to do, Grand Fockers. That's the only thing I can think of. Grand Fockers. Right? That's the only thing I can think of. Greg's going to become a grandfather, like his daughter or son or something. He's going to become a grandfather. Jeff's going to become a great-grandfather. He's going to be the Grand Focker. Watch. Watch. That'll be the name. Grand Fockers. Just wait for it. All the puns that they do, just wait for it. Grand Fockers. Just wait. But yes, so this film... So actually, this film actually gives us a timeline of events. Okay? Although, I am a bit confused. So, Wikipedia says that it's been 5 years since the last movie. Don't know how well that tracks. Because, if we're going by that the first film took place in 2000. So, and in this movie itself, Jack and Frank say they've known each other for 8 years, which would put this in 2008. However, there's a bit of an issue with that because Wikipedia states it's 5 years since the events of Meet the Fockers. But the twin kids that Pam was pregnant with at the end of the second film are turning 5, which means it would actually be 6 years after the events of the previous film, because that's how it works. And it feels like this is like a summer birthday, because they're trying to get them into some fancy school, right? It's a fancy kindergarten, which means it would be June, July, or August within there, right? Before school starts. So it would be that, around then, right? So I would have to think that if that was the case, then they would be born in 2003. They were born around June or so. We're going back. You got to think 9 months. They were in Florida, but they were going on a vacation. You think that would be summer too, or a fall vacation? I don't know. It doesn't really make much sense. I don't know. But again, the twins are celebrating their 5th birthday, which doesn't go with the math they are presenting us, because you don't count the first year. So that if you're going 5 years from the last film, the twins would be 4, not 5. But they're trying to get into kindergarten, which implies 5, because you're at least 5 by then. So it would be 6 years, which means it would be 2009. But that doesn't make any sense, because they say they've known each other for 8 years, which puts it, which, 2000, puts it in 2008. Known each other for 8 years. Whoever writes these movies doesn't know math. Doesn't know basic math even. Or how babies work. Because you don't count the first year. They would be 4, not 5. Ugh, my head's hurt. My head hurts. My head hurts. Unless it was whoever wrote the Wikipedia article and said it was 5 years. But again, that still doesn't make any sense with what they say in the movie, as they've known each other for 8 years. So 8 years would line up to 2008, which makes 2003 when the last one took place. Right? So 5 years, 2008. But if you're saying this is 2009, then you'd have to say the first one took place in 2001. But that still doesn't account for where they're getting the extra year, because that would still just bump up. All I'm saying is, whoever wrote this movie did their math wrong and counted the first year of childhood, but you don't count because that's 0. You were born, you are 0 years old, you are a baby, you're an infant, you're 0 for an entire year until you become 1. You don't count that first year as 1. The first year of your life is not 1. It's 0. So it wouldn't be 5 years. They wouldn't be turning 5. They'd be turning 4. Whoever wrote this didn't understand how babies work. So anyway, they're setting up for their 5th birthdays. It makes sense. And we find out that Pam's husband, Debbie's husband, cheated on her and is now out of the family. So now Frank wants Greg to be the Godfucker. Yes, that was in the trailers. And yes, it is a nod to De Niro's role as the Godfather. They even play the music when he says it. Another line I remember from the trailer is, he's got a double dose of Focker in him. Double dose. I remember that. I did quote that when he say it, because they're like, they say that with twins, one of the twins gets a chromosome from the father, another one gets extra chromosome from the father, and the other one gets extra chromosome from the mother. And he says that the daughter is more Burns, and the son is more Focker. He's got a double dose of Focker in him, and that's when the kid farts and he goes, double dose. Although the trailer cut it to where he bonked his head, he goes, double dose. Yeah. One thing you notice about this movie is that Dustin Hoffman is barely in it, and that's because he initially did not want to do the movie. They actually struggled to sign him for this movie, to get him in this movie, until principal photography had already finished. Not started, finished. And you can tell, because he only shares scenes with Ben Stiller or Barbra Streisand until the final scene, which was probably shot after the fact. They probably had to bring everyone else in for reshoots to shoot this ending, which some people would say technically makes this a Christmas film. I don't, because it's one scene. Yes, me, the guy who believes that Die Hard, rightfully so, is a Christmas movie. If we look at the movies I channel as Christmas movies: Die Hard, Long Kiss Goodnight, Gremlins, Reindeer Games, and The Ref. Those offshoots, they have a Christmas environment. There's a Christmas party in Die Hard. There's a Christmas dinner in The Ref. It's all surrounding Christmas. Reindeer Games, hello, the name, Santa Claus, there's Christmas. Christmas is the main element. The only thing Christmas is this is the fucking ending. It's like the original ending for Die Hard with a Vengeance, where in that ending, John McClane was going to show up with a bazooka and blow away Jeremy Irons, having presented it to him as a Christmas gift. And everyone says, well, that would make that a Christmas movie. And I said, no, it wouldn't. Nostalgia critic, it wouldn't count. That's one scene. Sorry. It's not... Christmas isn't a big deal in those. Like, in stuff like that. So, yeah, it's one scene. Like, this one is one scene, so it doesn't count. But yeah, Dustin Hoffman didn't want to be involved. And then they got him to agree, so then they had to shove him in a few scenes. The first scene that you see him in is a three-way call between Ben Stiller, him, and Barbara Streisand, where they're talking. Apparently he's in Spain learning flamenco, while Roz has a syndicated television program, because she's a sex therapist, you know, so she's doing it nationwide, I guess. And there's somewhat marital issues, but not really, as he wants to learn flamenco, I guess. And then he shows up later, after an event that happens with Greg, we'll get to it later, and he rides with him in a taxi to the party, but then has to stretch out his leg while Greg goes to finish off the scenes that were already filmed ahead of time. Yeah. And then we have a scene where Bernie walks in on Kevin, who has a bigger role in this than I remembered, kissing Roz, and he gets all mad, and he utters the line, "Will you leave so I can shut up my wife?" And then we don't see him to the Christmas scene. Even when Jack has his second heart attack in the film, he's not there. I don't know if Roz was supposed to be in a scene and they just didn't have her. I don't know. I also want to know, I guess technically you could say that Owen Wilson was in the scene with him too. I want to know if Owen Wilson, they brought back Owen Wilson for those scenes too. But you can tell, you know, after the fact, he doesn't share a scene with Robert De Niro till the end of the movie. And yeah, Robert De Niro's doing some family tree thing where he's tracing back their ancestry. And, yeah, that plays into the ending, I guess. I'd like to know what the original intended ending without him was, or if they had that ending set up, and I'd have to. But, Frank has a heart attack and defibrillates himself with his lie detector. I don't think that's how it works, but he does it. Don't think that's how that works, but okay. And tells Greg, but nobody else. So once again, we're doing the same thing we've done in the last few movies where there's this big secret. Shh, be quiet. Right? Also, Jessica Alba is in this, and she's a female representative from a pharmaceutical representative who, of course, ends up getting the hots for Greg. She's selling this boner pill that is for people with heart conditions, which will work for Jack, I guess. But it never comes back around unless the original intended ending without Bernie was supposed to play into that, but it doesn't. And it leads to, honestly, if you've seen American Reunion, you've seen this scene. You know what it is. The happily married man, this girl comes on to him. They think he's cheating. Only Greg is the only one that sees, not Greg, Frank is the only one that sees it here. But like, everything that they show that he sees shouldn't come off as Greg cheating. He's like, oh, Like he sees it and thinks that Greg is cheating on Pam. But like, the writing in this is so stupid because at one point he gives up on Greg. Because he believes that because the daughter doesn't understand, or the son, or which one of the kids doesn't understand, she gives daddy his boners. Which, it's because of the boner pills. But the kids don't understand that, so it doesn't translate right to Jack. So he thinks there's an affair going on. Oh, and her name is Andy Garcia, and yes, they do make that joke. The joke you're thinking of right now about the name, they made it. Yep. It's the most obvious. As soon as they named her Andy Garcia, that's the joke they wrote out. just like the actor. Yeah. Andy with an I. But yes. So, because he thinks that Greg is cheating, he immediately hates Greg. Tries to get Pam to get back with Kevin for some reason. Kevin was going to propose to his girlfriend, Svetlana, but because Greg told him to go more simple, she got pissed because it was too simple. Because Kevin went too simple with it. And by the way, I didn't even mention Kevin in the last one because he's barely in it. He's on screen and then performs the ceremony at the end when they get married. Yeah. That's it. But yeah, they have an argument and he leaves. Greg leaves. He goes back to the house where the repairs are, and that's where the thing with Andy happens. And Frank catches them, and then everything happens at this birthday party where they get into a fist fight. And I find it interesting that Frank survives a fist fight to then have a heart attack when chasing after Jinxie, when Jinxie gets a hold of the lizard. Why are you letting the cat run around outside of the birthday party for? Why is it not on a leash? Hello? McFly? Anybody home? Anybody got a reason? No? Great. I have an itch. I think my back scratcher's in the bathroom. But anyway, so, yeah, Jack suffers a heart attack. But before that, he puts him in an arm bar and touches his other carotid and asks him about Andy. And he says, no, I didn't cheat on Pam. Nothing happened. And so he has a heart attack. And I did laugh here. Because they're trying to... Greg's a nurse, so he's trying to do the nurse thing. And Kevin goes in there doing this. He goes, he's not responding to my treatment. He's like, what, you waving your arms around? Yeah, I don't know what that's supposed to be. Puts him in the ambulance, and he says, I believe you about Andy Garcia. I was touching your carotid artery. It did not move. I believe you. You're telling the truth. I like how we got cameos. Kevin Hart plays his assistant, and Jordan Peele is one of the ambulance people. The what you call it, EMTs. I do like how he goes, "Fucker." He goes, "Why are you cursing at me?" The cursing? No, he's talking. He's like, because he had a speech where like, I don't want to be the Godfucker. I'm the Greg fucker. He's like, You're the Greg fucker. You're the Greg fucker. Which I think might be the ending that we're going for. We cut to 5 months later. Wait, if it's Christmas. Oh, Christmas. Alright. If that's Christmas. So Christmas is December 12th. Right? Give me this. 12. Come on. 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. July. Their birthday is in July. Which means, so, July. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So that means that when she was pregnant, that it was October? That was October. They were in Miami. Okay, I can believe that, I guess. They're in Miami. Okay. They were born in July of 2004. Okay, sure. So here's the thing. Or to like that, there's supposed to be 5. So you're saying it was 2002 though? If this is 2008, then 5 years would be 2002. I didn't think of that actually. I'm fixating. Well, no, because they said 8 years. That's the one thing that keeps hanging me up. Is 8 years, right? So 8 years from 2000 to 2008, and 5 years. This is 5 years up to 2003. Okay, so they were born in 2003. So the I didn't think of that. 2003. If y'all put in the comments. So they know each other for 8 years. Maybe I didn't do the math right. They know each other for 8 years. And I said 5. Why did I say that was 2004? Well, I said 2003, right? Yeah, 2003. But she was pregnant in 2003. Yeah, because of the 8-year thing. The 8 years. Because of the 8 years. So she was pregnant in 2003. That's the last time we saw her. She would give birth in 2004. Okay, I am right. Because if we go back and say that it was 2002, then they would have known each other for 7 years, unless it was an approximate thing. I don't know, because they didn't meet till the first movie, so I don't know. But the last scene is Christmas, and if we find out that Jack is part Jewish, they give him a yarmulke, all that stuff, and yeah, that's it. So honestly, this was fine. I don't think that the whole Andy subplot needed to happen. As soon as she comes on screen, you know what they're gonna do. Oh, we're gonna do it an affair angle, but it's gonna be a misunderstanding. You know what's gonna happen because you've seen the other two. You know they're gonna do something. It's always in every movie. There's always some kind of misunderstanding thing. It's the whole Pam's wedding thing in the first one. It's this whole illegitimate child thing in the second one, and now it's this one. You know? I don't know. I just think this was fine. I'll give it a middle of the road. The other two are better. Watch the first two. They're better than this. I don't know. I am kind of interested in the next one. Mark my words, it's going to be called Grand Fockers. You wait, it'll be Grand Fockers. Think about it. Let's add that. So they turned 5 here apparently in 2008. Magically, they're actually 4, but whatever. 2008 they turned 5. We'll do that. 5 2008. So 10 years would be 2018, right? So they'd be 2018. It's 10 years later. They'd be 15. Not 10. That's 10 years later to be 15. Okay. So then we'll add 2 more years for 2020. 2020, they would be 17, right? According to the math here. All right. So in 2026, that's 6 years later. That's when it comes out. That would make them 21. No, I'm doing it wrong. The 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 23. 23. It can happen. It can happen. I was 24. My ex was 22 when we had my son. So, yeah, it can happen. It can happen at 23. Grand Fockers. Just wait for it. It'll happen. That's the only thing I can think of that they can do. Right? Grand Fockers. You know what else they could do? It doesn't have to be his kids. What about little Jack? What about LJ? Because if he was a baby, and that was 2003, all right, 2026, so we do 20 years, 20, he'd be 20, no, he'd be 20, no, he can't be 23 too. That doesn't make any sense. He said, 2003, that's 23, right? If we do 20, 26 minus 20, 2003, yeah, 0, 0, 2, 3. Okay, I think I did the math here wrong then. They wouldn't be the same age. Would they? He'd be 24. Because he was born in 2002. Right? So he'd be 24 then. That's right. Little Jack was older. He'd be 24. According to the math they do in these movies. But yeah, so it's fine. It's the middle of the road. It's fine. It's not terrible, but I don't know. I prefer the other two. So what are your thoughts on Little Fockers? Leave a comment below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.